Fear does not exist on this podcast, does it?
No, Sensei.
Pain does not exist in this podcast, does it?
No, Sensei.
Defeat does not exist on this podcast, does it?
I think we get it.
Do we?
No, Sensei.
Hello, interwebs, and welcome to Cobra Kai. I mean Close Up. I'm your co-host, Joe.
And I'm Sensei Ryan. And this is Sensei Joe.
Today we review Season 5 of Cobra Kai. Full spoilers ahead, you've been warned. So, zooming into our medium shot now. Ryan, tell me how you got into Cobra Kai, and what's your background on the show leading up to Season 5?
Well, as we talked about in our defending the Karate Kid franchise, I said that I didn't watch Karate Kid until I was a much older. I'm not gonna say man because I'm only 24. A much older person, and I watched the films, and I remember seeing Cobra Kai on YouTube. Remember watching a few clips. I think the first episode was actually free on YouTube, and I was intrigued and a little surprised because I knew they had Johnny Lawrence in it, but I didn't know that they brought back Ralph Macchio for it. So it had my intrigue, but also I was a teenager, and paying for stuff on YouTube was,
well, it was new.
You don't do that.
YouTube Red was brand new. It was brand new at the time.
I think that was maybe one of the first major shows to do it
and
to be on that platform.
Pretty much the only one that survived that platform.
Mm-hmm. And I believe, and then when Cobra Kai moved over to Netflix, I watched the first 2 seasons, really enjoyed them, and then progressively I've enjoyed each season as they've come out.
Yeah, so for me,
What about you, Joe?
I was a fan of the Karate Kid movie pretty much my whole life. I did martial arts as a kid, so that's partially the reason why, I think. But I never really got into the sequels very much until I started watching Cobra Kai, as we discussed on our Defending Karate Kid episode. But I still had enough nostalgia and enjoyment of this franchise that when I saw the first Cobra Kai trailer for YouTube Red, like you, I had interest as well. I thought, okay, so they're doing the joke from How I Met Your Mother, but making a whole TV show about it. Gotcha. Because, well, some minor spoilers for How I Met Your Mother, but one of my favorite minor stories in that show was Barney's love of the Karate Kid. And before he got married for his bachelor party, one thing on his list was he wants to meet the Karate Kid, which in his mind was William Zabka, because to him, Ralph Macchio's Daniel LaRusso was the villain of that movie. So during the bachelor...
I am nothing like Ralph Macchio.
So during the bachelor party, instead of getting William Zabka, they get Ralph Macchio. And Barney is furious for the entire episode. But then, twist, William Zabka comes after all. And William Zabka has a pretty big role to play in Season 9 of How I Met Your Mother. He's kind of a recurring cast member. So I watched How I Met Your Mother before I watched Cobra Kai, so seeing that joke in that show and then actually getting to watch the show, I'm like, okay, so they just made I think, I wouldn't be surprised if the creators of Cobra Kai watched How I Met Your Mother too, and they're like, yeah, we should make a show about that, actually. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think they've come out and said anything about How I Met Your Mother, but the opening episode and a few episodes after that do kind of hint towards Barney's stance on the whole thing, especially when Johnny is talking to Miguel and says, I was just on the beach by my own business, and then this kid comes up.
Sucker punches me.
Yeah, in a very not manipulative way, but I think Johnny is just
biased.
He's biased.
It's just biased.
It's just a biased opinion.
That's genuinely how he sees it.
To be fair, he was just trying to get back with his girlfriend, just doing it in a bad way. And this kid just randomly comes up. And when you're in a heated moment like that, you're like, who the fuck are you? Happens all the time.
This strange
happens all the
kid.
time in movies or just in crowds or or whatever. Especially if I'm just out with my guy friends or we're at a party and there's like argument going on, and then some guy just randomly walks up and says something. At least without fail, someone will always go, "Who the fuck are you? Who's this guy?" And that guy's always like, "Oh, I'm nobody."
So that's the story of Daniel and Johnny, and I was invested in it before, and when Cobra Kai came out, I was very excited to see this show. Even more pleasantly surprised when not only did they nail the return of the old cast, but the new cast was actually pretty compelling as well. And I wanted to see the adventures of the next generation of Karate Kids between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. And the show just got crazier and crazier from there. And now we're in season 5 where, well, season 1 of the show, the big plot was an ex-80s bully opens up a karate dojo and trains nerds to become bullies. And that's season 1. Season 5, we're here for the soul of the world domination, which style of
the valley.
Not just the valley, but the world. Terry Silver wants to put Cobra Kai everywhere.
I still don't know. I've never researched this yet, but I still don't know if the valley is a real place.
I think it is.
I know it's in LA. I just don't know which part of LA, because the only time I've heard of the valley has been in the Karate Kid universe. It's probably a real place.
My point is, the show got wild, man. Stakes went up.
Yeah,
shot through
crazy.
the roof. It's nuts.
It is insane.
Where to start? You know what? Let's just start at the
Where
end.
to start? I have a bone to pick with you, young man.
Oh, do you know?
We had talked at lengths about, because you had, when during our Karate Kid in defense, I hadn't started season 5, but you did, and I said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool?
I know where you're going.
Wouldn't it be cool if Mike Barnes showed up?" And you're like, "Yeah, it would be cool," and played it super casual, not knowing. You bastard!
Yeah, I
He
sidestepped
didn't give me
that
any
one.
hint that he was there, and I had to freak out while watching it in my break room at work, being like, "It's Mike fucking Barnes," who I don't know why he's one of my favorite characters, but he just is, because I think he's one of the best villains that Daniel has ever faced in the Karate Kid universe.
He's one of the most intense for sure.
And then unintentionally, when you talked about, I didn't realize, was it Julie? The third girl in the
Jessica.
Karate Kid Part 3? Jessica. You're like, I think they were just friends. I don't think they were a romantic relationship. Why do you think he said that? Is because she shows up and in season 5, and the whole reason she shows up is because she connected Daniel to his wife. You bastard! You did it on purpose, and you know it.
Well, I didn't do the Jessica one because I was an episode behind on that.
Yes, you did. Subliminally, you did, and you saw your future self watching.
Okay, so the text Ryan sent me after he realized Mike Barnes was in the show and that I sidestepped him. "You motherfucker! Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. Mike Barnes is here? 4 exclamation marks.
It's all in caps.
Yep. So that was that.
I was so stoked to see not only that he was back, but how well he aged. They've all aged pretty well.
Pretty much everybody on this show aged well.
But I don't know why I accepted his redemption arc so quickly. And that he's like, I was a angry kid who was probably, I would have loved if they said I was on coke. Like, because that's what it felt like.
That's what Terry Silver said.
That's what Terry's, yeah.
In season 4, Terry Silver said, "Oh yeah, I was on coke. The 80s were a weird time for me, and I mellowed out since
probably
then."
didn't want to say that because he was a kid at the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And but he's just a man trying to get by.
They did imply he was on
owning a
drugs at
furniture
one
store.
point, though.
Yeah, near the end.
At the very end, they're like, his pupils
So he
are
probably
dilated. He's like, "What's he on?" They're like, Daniel's like, we're all drunk, and I don't know what Mike Barnes is on.
Poor furniture store. And the whole reason why he was pissed at them is because the only reason he has that furniture store is because it's not insured, but it's paid for by the bank, and he can't pay that back from the bank. So I was wondering why he'd be so pissed about it.
I love how he just steals the painting.
He said he was broke.
He just steals the priceless painting at the end. Think that'll cover it?
Smart.
Yeah.
Probably. If it's in Terry Silver's house. I thought, we're not there yet. Anyway.
You know what, we'll just talk as we talk. But I was a little disappointed that Mike Barnes didn't have more to do this season. Like that whole final fight at Terry Silver's house, he gets knocked unconscious immediately and then shows up right at the end. Like,
Johnny dies like 3 times in that scene. There's like 3 separate scenes where it's slow motion and Johnny's getting his ass kicked. But it's either through strength or just him being stubborn that he won't fully die.
It's the power of love.
And you know what's really funny?
He saw the ultrasound of his unborn child. And
I don't know if
gave him
the
strength to something to fight for.
This is really funny to me because I follow some of the YouTube drama because just I watch a lot of it. Did you recognize one of the senseis?
I did not.
One of them is Tyron Woodley, who famously fought Jake Paul twice and got knocked out in the second fight.
Twice?
So right after fighting Jake Paul, he does this and gets beat up by a bunch of children. And he's the guy who... He's the sensei who...
Got his finger cut off, right? Or is that a different guy?
I think that might have been him or a different guy, but it's the sensei who was doing the drill with Kyler. Horrible fucking name, by the way. And is it Kenny? Who's the little kid?
Kenny. Kenny.
Kenny, who's the leader and who's the follower.
That was a great scene.
Sensei. That's Tyron Woodley.
I love how
I remember seeing him being like, I know.
Kyler's had no character development. And it's amazing.
Hate Kyler, but he's supposed to be hated. I just on the name alone because I thought it was like I thought it was a dumb joke in the first season because it felt very Gen Z name.
Oh, I love that line from him at the pool when he didn't recognize Anthony LaRusso, and Anthony's like, "You dated my sister. I date a lot of sisters."
That's fair. I feel like he would say that. But yeah, the reason I recognized him, I was not happy that I recognized Tyron Woodley. I was picturing, and I was, who is that? I know him from somewhere. And then, images flash in your head where you think you know what the person looks like, and then you're like, oh my god, I know what he's from, and I'm disappointed that I know.
No, man.
Not anything against Jake Paul, but it's just not something you're happy of remembering. Anyway.
I've heard of those fights. I didn't know who he was fighting. I don't know that he won, though.
Yeah, he's fighting Anderson Silva next.
This isn't about boxing, it's about karate.
That's right.
And the stakes are life and death this time. Even though nobody died.
Who gets which side of the pool? The water slide park. Which a lot of people might not think is important, but when you're a kid and it's summer, it's the only place you want to go. It's very important.
Don't you love how the Cobra Kai's cheated? They popped Hawk's thing when he went down. Bastards.
Was it Kenny that popped it?
Probably.
Poor Kenny. He's got, well, we'll get to there, but I think he's going to have a bit of a redemption.
Well, I mean, he's one of the ones who tossed the Cobra Kai shirt on to Terry Silver at the end there. So I don't know what they're going to do for season 6. Everybody renounced Cobra Kai. Its reputation's in tatters. It's one sensei.
I think they're doing the big tourney.
Sakai Taikai.
Yeah, that's Sakai. I think that's it. And I believe they've said that season 6 is the last season.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so in that I enjoyed the show, but they just keep escalating and escalating, and there's nowhere left to go. If they go past season 6, the show's gone on too long. Season 6 is the perfect time to end it, and please don't drag it out anymore. I go through every single year of Cobra Kai thinking, this is going to be the year it's too much. This is going to be the year they overdo it and jump the shark. And it nearly did this year, but in a good way. In that
we don't. It says we're still working all out with Sony and Netflix. We don't have an official season 6 to announce yet. What we can say is that we're constantly thinking about these characters. Oh, this does not sound like a proud parent.
I mean, once again, the stakes are already life or death. I love that scene when Terry Silver faced off against Chosen with the katana, and he finally got to pull out his size that he had on him all season. He was ready all year.
I thought, and that's why Raphael was the best Ninja Turtle, because of those weapons.
Donnie
That's my only argument.
The stick is a noble weapon. We've had this debate before. Was it on air? I don't remember.
No, it was at Fan
air.
Expo. We were talking about it with Justin, and I made fun of Donatello. I was like, he's just got a stick, and then under Joe's breath, he just goes, "The staff is a noble weapon," and I was dying inside because you said it so seriously that it was really funny, and I appreciate it. I don't hate Donatello.
Nobody hates Donatello, but he's nobody's favorite but mine. I have to stand up for Donnie. Everybody likes Raph and Leonardo.
Justice for Donnie. Yeah. Justice for Donnie.
Exactly. But we're talking about Chosen and Silver. Yeah.
I really thought they were going to kill off Chosen.
Me too.
Because they were doing that classic writing thing where
he nearly had him.
Daniel's talking to him and says,
blade on his throat.
"Hey, you should call
Kumiko.
Call
Kumiko. Tell her you care about her."
And they were setting up a happy ending for Chosen, and if you're setting up a happy ending, usually that means the character's going to die.
And then he gets a katana in the back.
He gets a katana back. Selfish move by Terry Silver. How dare you? So I was like, oh, he's in a pool. Realistically, if you're bleeding out in a pool, that's really bad. It's not good. I think it's worse. Not a biologist.
Yeah.
But if you're bleeding out in a hot tub, that's worse. Because your blood's,
it's
all warm and it's moving fast.
That's
but
true.
Also, they were in like a hot tub it doesn't matter. He's fine. This is a detail that doesn't matter to most viewers. But I was really scared they were going to kill him off because I love Chosen. So he takes on 6 fucking senseis at once. Well, they're also random senseis from the valley, but he kicks all their asses.
Well, that was a good scene.
He's literally the GOAT. I texted you in episode 2. Chosen's the GOAT. That's literally what I texted you.
He is. I like that one scene when Chosen, he did specifically mention, I faced off 6 senseis from the valley and could beat them all easily. But when me and Johnny tried to take on one of the, I think they were South Korean, one of the South Korean senseis, it took 2 of them just to face the one guy.
Yeah.
So those guys, it really set them up as a lot tougher until Johnny beat them all. I guess you could critique that, it make them look a little less tough when Johnny could just take on so many of them single-handed. It was an awesome scene.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically.
Awesome scene.
I don't know.
And I don't remember how he beat them all, because I think I was so emotionally distressed from wondering if Chosen was going to die. But
it's the rule of cool. It's like if you're watching the show cynically, okay, fine, maybe that deserves some critique, but if you're invested in it, it's the rule of cool, man. It's badass.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Happens all the time.
I also thought John Kreese was done.
You thought I thought so too. I was just like
casually kill him off at the start of that episode.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really nice moment.
I was a little suspect about it because
it was his friend. The guy,
it was his friend, and also the blood on his chest or wherever where he got stabbed looked really fake, which is the point. But that I was like, this show has a big enough budget to make blood look real because they've done it in the past. So I was a little suspect about it.
I kind of would have liked that.
They were setting up the door and the badge. So
yeah,
but I didn't think about him, and because it happened very on in the beginning, there was just so much other traumatic stuff. Well, not traumatic, but also just crazy dramatic. There we go. That's the word. Dramatic stuff that was happening later on.
I thought that was a good ending for Kreese because he has that therapy breakthrough session, and then for the first time in decades,
oh my god,
he goes to stop a fight and then gets killed for it. I thought that would have been the perfect ending if they had it there. It's like, oh, okay, he died trying to do the right thing for the first time. And
how'd you feel about the Johnny Lawrence deepfake, the young CGI Johnny Lawrence?
I'd have to watch it again. It was too uncanny valley the
Here's
first
the
time
thing.
I watched it.
It was really good, and then he started talking.
Yeah, I think
because you can't find the same voice. It's really hard to do. I don't know if it was AI generated. I don't want to say it is,
probably,
because I don't think they would do that. Well, maybe, who knows. But I thought it looked really good, and then he started talking because the voice just didn't match up, and it was a little wonky. But always, those deep fakes. I think it was a deep fake because just how the face looked.
Yeah,
but I was like, wow, they really just did that. They really just did that. They have so much balls. These creators of this show, and I loved it.
What did you think of that therapy scene? Do you think, because part of me thinks that, well, of course he was faking it to an extent to get the badge, but the stuff he was saying,
yeah,
I think came from a real
truthful.
place. Because when Johnny said he's gonna, bury Grease's legacy, erase it, and when he's telling his therapist, the best student I ever had says he's gonna erase my legacy, I'm like, the fact that you're bringing this up in therapy at all means you're thinking about it. He got under your skin. So I feel like that's
really
coming from a truthful place.
It was funny when watching that therapist scene. I was really surprised about how many actors they got back to do that little scene, because there was young Johnny Crease. There was
young Terry Silver.
I can't even remember. Young Terry Silver.
Old Terry Silver.
Yeah, Terry.
Young Johnny.
The Colonel.
Oh, yeah. The
Colonel, too.
The one who taught him
and
karate.
Gosh, there was one flashback. I want to know what Jan Kreese's age was, because he talks about Johnny in that one flashback back in Korea. Was it Korea? They were at?
I think so.
With Terry Silver, is like, he says something to Terry. He's like, I don't know, I got this feeling about this kid. I think he's gonna be really good. And he's clearly talking about Johnny. So is like a 30-year-old Kreese training like maybe a 10-year-old Johnny?
I feel like the timelines are there if you did some research into it. Because, let's assume the original Karate Kid is set in 1984, the year the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like older, high school. They probably would have been like 17, I don't know, like 16, 17 years old in that movie.
Yeah.
And let's say Johnny had been doing karate for, I don't know, 6 years before that. So let's say he was 10 years old. So that would have made that scene about 1978. It would have been the late 70s. Vietnam ended in 1975. So I think it still lines up.
Yeah. I don't know why, but my brain just didn't want to connect that. Where it was like, he's supposed to be young, but he's already teaching Johnny. But it was just a personal thing. I can believe it, but it just felt weird to me. I don't know why.
See, that's the problem, is that Kreese, that's the Kreese that was introduced in the 1960s, just before he enrolled in Vietnam.
Oh, that's right, yes.
But just before Martin Kove's Kreese from the original Karate Kid. So technically, Kreese should be older in that scene, but also you can't make him, like, you have to use the younger Kreese, but he can't be older. So I get why they used the younger one there. I support that, but really he should have been the older, like the middle version of Kreese. They can't get without deep faking is the problem.
I wonder what he's gonna do, if I'm being honest.
Maybe
because I know I feel like in season 6 in season 6 they're going to set up the Sekai Takai. Like, feel like that's gonna be the final thing. Who's gonna be the ultimate champion?
Miguel.
Which I feel like, yeah, it's probably gonna be Miguel.
Miguel's the best fighter.
But that's not fun to me. I honestly want it to be Robbie, because he hasn't won anything. He's made it to the final every time, but also you could argue Miguel is supposed to be the main or the hero of the story.
I don't know. They already showed he kicked. Showed he kicked Robbie's ass this year.
That's true, but I just want Robbie to win something, because Robbie's one of my favorite characters. But it would make sense for Miguel's arc to do it, because he won one, and then he got hurt, and then he recovered, and then he ran away. And so this time it'll be like, I'm not running away this time. And then he'll fight Jaden Smith.
Oh. You know what? Why not?
Oh God!
If you're gonna bring him in,
if that's true,
if you're gonna bring him in,
bring in Jackie
there.
Chan.
Yeah, bring in Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan just as cameos in the
Oh my
Sekai
God.
Taikai.
Oh my God!
But he'd be too old now, wouldn't he?
If Pat was still alive, I would love to see Pat versus
Morita and Jackie Chan.
Oh no. That'd be
That's
that'd be a bit much. That'd be too nostalgic.
Oh, brother.
Oh,
I thought it was interesting. I just thought about this the other day, how Daniel and Johnny both kind of evenly got the best fighters in the show. Johnny trained
yeah.
Miguel and Hawk, and Daniel trained Sam and Robbie. So four of the best fighters in the show were kind of 50. And I guess, Tori, I'd say, was trained mostly by Kreese, so she's kind of the outlier. But
Yeah.
but everybody else was like, it's kind of 50-50 between, like, out of the main fighters, Daniel and Johnny both had the major hand in two of them. So I think that's cool how they kept it split pretty even. And then once again, Tori is kind of the outlier. She had an interesting story this year.
Poor Tori.
Where she was guilty about, getting a trophy she didn't earn. But of course, she can't let Sam hold it over her. And she's kind of going undercover to...
I have one gripe with that. In season 4 finale, you could believe that Tori won because...
she's a great fighter.
She's a great fighter, and also the point that Sam didn't get, it could have just been a missed call. Whereas in this season, it's almost every time Miyagi-Do / Eagle Fane try to get a point, the ref was like, no, step over the line. Like, it clearly rigged. That's the only gripe I have of it, and the judges were like, I guess he's the ref, so he's right. But also, I'm a huge sports guy, so I know... I've played sports for a long time. I know when refs, they're not cheating, but I know when refs just miss calls because they don't want to take time to do penalties or whatever. And it's actually kind of funny. I'm going off the beaten path here, but in the last 3 years, I believe it was, an NHL referee actually got fired because they were mic'd up, and you could hear them say, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, oh, that was a makeup call to one of his buddies. He literally said that's a makeup call, which proves that this has been happening for years and generations. And they were like, oh yeah, we've been doing this since I got in the league. Doing makeup calls and missed calls because we don't want the games to go on. And I remember showing this to my mom, being like, you see? Professionals do it who get paid. So don't tell me these people back in Kingston don't do it. Anyway, that's my little gripe. But yeah, I think Tori would be a better fighter than Sam if her anger didn't get in the way all the time. Sam was much more composed.
I don't know, she's pretty aggressive too. There's that one scene, for example, when Tori...
She's aggressive. She's aggressive in the finale. I'll give you that. You fucking cheated! I fucking knew.
That's the scene I was gonna bring up. She's bringing some Cobra Kai energy there.
God. And why is it when anyone gets shoved? Why is it when anyone gets shoved, it's always into a dumpster? It's always...
Is that a running thing?
I don't mean in just show, but just like in just Hollywood in general. When everyone gets shoved into something, it's usually a dumpster or a trash can. Maybe because it's easier? I don't know.
Trash cans are kind of like, they're light and they fall over.
They're everywhere.
It looks dramatic when you fall into garbage. It's symbolic of something. I don't know. Like,
not saying that Tori's trash.
I push you into trash because I think you're trash. Well, she is misunderstood, but she's also, as bad as Sam thinks she is.
Very angry.
In many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, she did bring that weapon and slash Sam's arm, injuring her in season 2.
That's in the past, That's,
It's like last summer.
Oh, you're right. It's been like 3 to 4 years.
It's been like 4 years for us, but
it's been very recently.
The show's only set over about 2 years so far.
That's true. She came out, the actress Peyton List, and she said she was worried about the age difference because
aging out
this
of
is
the
all
role.
supposed to aging out of the role. But she's fairly young and she looks
She's our age.
that age group. So, and there's probably only going to be one more season. There's only going to be one more season, I believe, and also there's going to be Sony announced a new Karate Kid movie,
Which makes no sense.
in 2024
Because
but
the
they
creator
don't know what it is yet. They've just announced it.
Because the creator of Cobra Kai came out and said, yeah, this movie's got nothing to do with us. But,
Yeah.
yeah. So what are they making a new Karate Kid movie for if it's got nothing to do with Cobra Kai or any of that cast?
It's going to be the trainer. It's going to be who's really hot right now. Who's really hot? Who's from like that the martial art background?
No.
I mean, Jackie Chan could do it again. If I'm being honest, I don't know if anyone's surpassed him in modern time.
Michelle Yeoh?
Sure, I would love that. Michelle Yeoh, and then the fighter it's got to be someone young and hot. So either Olivia Rodrigo or Billie Eilish. It's one of those two. I feel like Olivia would do it, or Addison Rae. Anyway, not talking about. We have barely talked about Cobra Kai. So
There's a lot to cover, though.
I was really happy we didn't spend half or most of the season in Mexico, because I didn't want it to be Johnny and Miguel's dad fighting over Miguel for half a season, and Miguel being confused, because I was afraid of Miguel being stupid again.
They didn't even meet.
Season, which he's not.
Johnny and the dad didn't even meet. And I'm a little mixed on this storyline because part of me says, oh, that's really nice. Miguel got to meet his dad and get a little humbled by it. He learned that his mom made the right call after all, and he matured from the experience. Okay. But also, that plot line lasted 2 episodes and was not addressed again for the rest of the season. So I'm like, is this set up for later, or did they really just resolve it that quickly? And if it did resolve that quickly, I'm a little bit let down by that particular plot line, even though once again I respect how it helped Miguel grow as a person. But
it kind of helped with Robbie and Miguel as well. I would say like a little bit, because I honestly believe if Robbie didn't go on that trip, him and Miguel would not get over their beef. I honestly don't think so. Because I believe they brought up something at the pool like, hey man, just because you came with me on a road trip doesn't mean we're all good. But secretly, I think he's saying, "Hey, thanks for coming on that road trip." At the same time,
I like the scene when Johnny tried to make an escape room to get them to.
Oh my gosh,
work together.
That's so funny. It's like, and I glued it from the inside. And the grandma is so funny. It's like, no, don't close the door. Never mind. She was like, "Did I do something wrong?" It's like, "No, it wasn't you, Lola. It's fine. It's not you."
And then Johnny
got did I mess up?
And then Johnny got locked in there till Daniel bailed him out later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Daniel was hammered. Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
Well, they all were. That's one of the best scenes of the season is when I love how all the ex-Karate Kid villains, Johnny Chosen, Mike Barnes, all storm into Terry Silver's house with a vengeance. The 3 ex-Karate Kid villains going against the current one, who is also an ex-Karate Kid villain. That's good fan service. That's fan service done right. This is something I never knew I wanted to see, but I'm like, nope, this is awesome. Gimme. I want to see this.
It was like the portal scene in Endgame.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't know I wanted to see that, but now that we're here.
Yeah. I thought you were going to bring up the part where Johnny is more adult than Daniel.
Oh, well, that's a good part too. But
where Daniel again is basically egging Johnny on to fight, trying to
want to do the rivalry
thing.
He's
just so angry.
Yeah.
He's drunk. His wife left him to go hang out with their cousin. I'm still mad at you about it, even though you didn't do it on purpose.
That one I did. Mike Barnes, I did.
I saw her, and the only reason I knew she was something important because the music cue got me. I was like, "Who is that?" And then Amanda said her name. I was like, "Joe did it again." But yeah, there was a scene where Daniel's hammered. He's trying to egg on Johnny because that's what they've been doing, and Johnny just goes, "What are you doing here, man? Like, you gotta take responsibility for what you did. Amanda's pissed at you, and you're here trying to pick a fight with me.
Okay, now
Again, I was watching this in the break room, just like, what is this character development? Is it because he's having a baby?
I want to get back to that, but I also want to say Daniel would have every right to be mad at Johnny there, because this is all Johnny's fault. If Johnny had never brought back Cobra Kai in the first place, none of this would happen. And then Johnny's trying to be all mature and bow out of the fight. Like, you started this, man. Your choices are what led us here, and now you want to be the mature one and bow out? Do you get that right? I don't know, but I'd be a little mad at him.
That's fair.
It's like the fact you brought back Cobra Kai in the first place led directly here. So, and now Daniel's the only one who wants to keep the fight going. But let's get to Johnny's character development. I just wanted to give that as a reason why Daniel, he didn't mention that, but he could have and maybe should have. Because I thought about that myself later. I'm like what right does Johnny have to back out of this?
Him and his girlfriend
Carmen.
get scared. Carmen. Yeah. I said Karma. That's not a great name. Carmen, great character.
Yeah.
And have the pregnancy scare when he gets back from rescuing Miguel.
But spoiler alert, it wasn't a scare.
Yeah, I honestly thought they were going to be like, I'm not pregnant, because they do that a lot in sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah, well.
But turns out she is pregnant. I was like, oh my God, thank God these writers are smart. And they they actually do character development.
And payoff.
And
you mean you told us a thing might happen, and then you made it happen and didn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Pull the rug out from under us, retcon it.
Yeah.
Pretend like it wasn't a thing.
And so Carmen's like, you obviously need some time to think and to grow up and feel like what you really want to do. And so Johnny goes, you know what? I like Carmen. I like Miguel. I like this new bastard child. So, sorry. So what he does is he throws out all his junk, all his, teenage stuff, all his childhood stuff, and he basically family proofs or baby proofs his apartment.
He cleans up.
Instantly, oh my gosh, what some IKEA furniture can do to an apartment. It looks great.
I love how his ex-girlfriend, Robbie's mom, walked into the place and pegged him instantly. Like,
yeah. I think every character who walked in was like, what, did you get new furniture?
So you knocked up Carmen, huh? Isn't that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to her, I think.
Yeah.
And
except
and then,
Johnny didn't behave that way with her.
Even that scene, Johnny said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't ready to have a kid. I was immature at the time, and I probably could have handled it better." This whole season, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Johnny is more adult than any of the adults here." Until he gets blasted, drunk, and goes after Terry Silver in his own home, which is fine.
I also like the parallel between Johnny in season 1 and now, and I forget who it was who pointed this out to me. It may have been my mom even when we were talking about it. But she pointed out how Johnny was doing gig jobs in season 1 as well. He was doing, like hanging the TVs and whatever. But his heart wasn't in it. He was a lonely alcoholic who did these gig jobs because it was the only thing he could do. But now he's doing the gig jobs and he still sucks at them. But now he's doing it with a lot more enthusiasm because he's doing it for the baby, trying to show his character growth. He's actually making an effort. He's doing them not because he needs to survive, but because he wants his family to thrive. And it's a big show of how he goes about doing the jobs compared to how he used to. And also, it's just really fun to see Johnny get 1 star after 1 star after 1 star reviews. One of my favorite bits of that was when
Johnny
the lady in the Uber is like, "Do you have any Billie Eilish?" Yeah, and then he throws on Billy Idol.
That's so funny because he's such a man of the time in the 80s, and it's not that he's not progressive. I just think he just doesn't care.
It's not that he doesn't care. He's just ignorant. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what ignorant. the new.
What was that line in season 4? What was that line in season 4 where one character said, "Oh, I'm non-binary," and I think he said something like, "That's good. We don't do math," or something like that. He like it completely goes over his head. He says something in season 4 to it when trying to recruit characters. Like, it's like, that's okay. We don't judge. He says something like that.
The one I remember was when he was trying to get Miguel to pose and look all sexy, and the girl says she's asexual, but he keeps trying to make Miguel pose for her, and she's like, I don't care. But he didn't get why.
I think that's what it, yeah, that might have been it too.
That's what.
But yeah, he's just he's ignorant, but not in terms of. I just feel like he just doesn't care to learn, but also he's not judgmental. I think he's just literally just the everyday man who is a terrible Uber driver. But yeah, I remember texting this about you. One of my favorite character moments, who's not one of the main characters, is Amanda. I agreed with her for the first few episodes because this karate beef or whatever is potentially destroying their kid's future and the town. It almost murdered her firstborn child.
It also nearly got her not on the council she wanted to be on because Daniel was a prick. Hey, Daniel, could you not ruin this day for me? And then Daniel goes and ruins it by picking a fight with Terry Silver that Silver may have provoked. And I agree with you because I agreed with her in that one scene where Daniel was saying, oh, well, he provoked the fight. And she's like, but you let him. You're still in control of your reactions, Daniel. And
Poor Amanda.
Yeah, you gave in to your rivalry and made a public fool of yourself. And Amanda.
It's almost twice now in the show that they've almost gotten divorced. Or have been separated at one point.
I didn't blame her for leaving because she's been the voice of reason and against this whole rivalry thing for 5 seasons now. And this was kind of the tipping point. But I also understood when Jessica came back and said, well, I was there and it was bad. So cut him a little slack more than you.
Well, it's kind of funny because she was agreeing with Amanda the whole time. And then Amanda brings up Terry Silver and she goes, Terry Silver? That guy is the devil.
Psycho, yeah.
Can
we talk about Terry Silver? I love Terry Silver.
Yeah, he is the epitome of corporate everything. He gets everything through money. Even at one point where Tori calls him out pretty early on in the season, says, "You paid off that ref." And he's like, "Of course I did. I'm not gonna take a chance and lose to Miyagi-Do." It's like, "But I didn't win." "Yes, you did. I just made sure you did." And it's just like, oh my God, this guy has no remorse, doesn't care.
He makes John Kreese look like a more honorable man by comparison. It's like, yeah, look, Kreese was crazy, but he had a code that he lived.
Well, yeah.
He was trying to turn kids into soldiers, basically, but he was doing it in a way that made sense to him. Silver is just...
And Terry was... Yeah, Silver was all about trying to turn his kids into advertisements.
Yeah, it's all about the PR. It's a lot more soulless. Like, in a way, Kreese actually did care about the kids he was teaching, even if it was more to ensure his own legacy. And but he was trying to create a stronger generation of kids for the kids' sake, I think, ultimately. Whereas Silver is more... He's just making a business out of karate, which flies in the face of everything Miyagi-Do believes in. Karate is this spiritual... ancient tradition, which helps you more, gives you inner peace, gives you a way to defend the things you care about. It's a very spiritual thing, which he's trying to take and plaster cobras on to sell for $1.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of the apex villain of this series. The villains just get worse and worse and worse and worse over time, and Terry Silver's the worst it can get because he's polluting the ideals of karate, but he's got the money to do it and the influence, and he can do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. I also thought that was I also felt terrible for Stingray this season. This is one of the only seasons I ever felt bad for Stingray. You're traumatized.
This is the only time he didn't feel like a shoehorned in character for me.
Yeah.
I feel like he was just really a comic relief for most of the seasons. Yeah, last season in season 4, it was really shocking when he got his
ass beat just
by Terry.
Yeah,
almost to death.
Yeah,
but this was the one time I was like, oh wow, he's just actually just scared.
Yeah.
Like there's like actual trauma from this guy.
You can't even say what happened to him out loud. He's too afraid to repeat it. I also like that he...
Yeah. You broke my PlayStation. Well, why are you leaving a PlayStation 4 on the ground, sir? Daniel tries to make it up buying a PlayStation 4 because we all know that even in this timeline, he can't afford a PS5 yet. Or something like that.
Cobra Kai is
or it's still
prophetic.
it's around that timeline, even though every child apparently has an iPhone 13. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. It just happens in all the movies. Everyone's got the new iPhone.
Yeah. I also like that scene because that's when Terry beats the crap out of Daniel. I'm like, ooh, the villain showing his power here. But that also reminds me, I love the ending.
I can't believe they're the same age.
That's ridiculous to me. I love the ending when Daniel beats Terry Silver using Terry Silver's own methods he taught to him in Karate Kid 3. That was beautiful. What a great payoff for not just Cobra Kai Season 5, but Karate Kid 3 all the way back in, 1989 or something. That's a 30-year payoff where he finally got to beat Terry Silver.
Mm-hmm.
For what he did to him.
Very, very good scene. I remember seeing some memes when Daniel brings the PS4 back to Stingray. There's a lot of comments like, not even a pro, dude? You're rich.
I thought about that too. Funny enough. I'm like, oh, you just got the regular? Okay.
Maybe you won't notice. Oh, I thought that was really funny. I had that thought too. I was like, why isn't it PS5? But also it's the timeline. And also
that was my first thought. I thought, well, why isn't it a PS5? And I'm like, oh yeah, you can't get PS5s. Why not at least a PS4 Pro? Anyway.
Maybe they couldn't get one of those either. Those are off the market as well.
All right, so we should probably wrap up soon anyway.
There's your timer.
Yeah.
Characters.
Great.
Quickly go through character moments. Characters, everyone has great writing. Very happy Robbie and Miguel settled their beef. I love that they're playful with each other. I love that they're very playful. More so Robbie is with Miguel, because I feel like he has to be. They do the little bump. Robbie gives him like a little like friendly bump during, I think, near the end of the show or something like that. And I was like, those two kids are cool. I don't know if Sam and Tori will ever settle their beef.
She sympathizes, though. They sympathize with each other a little more.
They sympathize. But
Daniel and Johnny, I think Daniel and Johnny have finally buried the hatchet. They're working together really well this season because they're both finally kind of on the same page. They put their beef aside, and hey, that's nice. After 5 years, they're finally kind of friends. They're going out partying together, going out dancing, drinking, beating guys up, getting carjacked in a limo. That's great. I also like how the old Karate Kid villains, like I said, all have relationships too. Like there was a great scene when Chosen and Johnny were talking about what they did to Daniel, but also how Daniel helped better them as people. So that was cool stuff too.
They were kind of showing each other up as like, well, I did this. I was like, I literally almost tried to kill him. I think Chosen was like, he was like, all right, whatever, fair. Yeah, a lot of good fights in this show. Really happy that Robbie and Tori got back together at the end. And also Sam and Miguel. With the whole, they're a little octopus. I know it's cute or whatever, but, love grosses me out. We're just lonely. Anyway. But yeah, this is a symbol of their relationship. It's very cute. I'm glad that those couples got together. And the reason why I love Miguel in this season is because he actually is very adult. Even though it hurts him. Because Sam had to figure stuff out on her own.
I need a break from karate, from you. I want to just take time for myself.
Couldn't handle the stress of the relationship. And even though Miguel is very hurt by that, he says, yeah. And I believe he says something like, of course I love you, but you needed your space, and I wanted to give that to you. Yeah. And that was the first time they said love. Aww. And I believe what's one line that I was like, oh, damn. Was when Tori says, look, I'm not one for speeches, so maybe you should just come over here and kiss me. I was like, oh, okay, Tori.
That was good.
And Rob was like, damn straight. Damn. You don't gotta tell me twice. So
No.
I really hope when season 6 happens, I want there to be the most awkward double date known to man
Oh
between
no.
Tori and Robbie and Miguel and Sam. Hey, remember when I kissed your girlfriend and you kissed my girlfriend and then blah, blah, blah.
I think that'd be a parallel between, I think earlier on in Cobra Kai, there was that bit when Daniel and Johnny went out with Amanda and Carmen, and they kind of had a double date thing, but like Amanda and
I think that
Carmen
was
were totally hitting it off.
Season 3 or season 4.
Yeah, I think it was season 3. They were totally hitting it off, and Daniel and Johnny were fighting the whole time.
Yeah, the reason that worked out, I'm pretty sure that was season 3. I think the only reason that worked out was because of the ladies, because of Amanda and Carmen.
I love how they have a friendship. Those two together have good chemistry.
Yeah, they're almost like sisters. Yeah, very good chemistry. I wonder if they'll get married, Johnny and Carmen, or if he's just gonna have a bastard child.
They'll probably get married. I don't think Johnny's ever been married.
I keep saying it because I'm a Game of Thrones fan. Okay, everyone who's not married or has a kid is like, "Am I a bastard?"
Johnny wasn't married to Robbie's mom. I don't think he's ever been married. So it would be, to complete his...
Robbie's a bastard.
Big shocker. But he redeemed himself.
That's really funny to me.
I think that would be nice for Johnny to end up married by the end of the show. It would kind of... It would show how much he's grown. Season 1, Johnny was... once again, alone and woke up on the floor, covered in beer. Everything, has posters of naked women on the walls. Doesn't even know how to use the internet. By the end, he's married with a baby on the way. Rekindled his relationship with his son. Repaired that. Has a stable relationship. As a surrogate father figure in Miguel. Is a career man. Rediscovered his passions in life. He's got a good potential for an ending here. And I think they can bring it home.
I believe this is the last summer before their senior year of high school.
I think they're done. I think this is the last summer before college.
Or are they completely done? Oh, that might be it too.
The older kids are done.
Yes, because I think there was something where at one point... Oh no, I'm thinking of Stranger Things, never mind. Where they were talking about acceptance letters.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if they ever brought that up.
I think the older kids are done now.
I don't know. The college doesn't matter. It's all about karate. Unless one of them goes to UCLA or something. But yeah, one thing that I wanted more of was I kind of wanted more of Robbie and Tori. Not them together, which would have been good too, but just them in general.
I wanted more Robbie in general.
I
don't think Robbie got a lot to do this season in general.
Besides being like, guys, stop fighting.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of like...
with Kenny.
Yeah, he was kind of like, yeah, Kenny, don't fight. Yeah, Tori, don't fight. Oh, Miguel, we're cool now. But, like, Miguel had stories, Tori had stories, Kenny had stories, but Robbie was kind of just...
He didn't really have a story.
He was a supporting character in all those stories, but he didn't really have anything of his own going on. So that's...
His hair still looks good, though.
Fantastic.
Still got the abs. Still got, I don't know how he does it.
I don't think, like, Hawk really didn't get anything going on this year either.
He got his blue hair back.
Yeah.
Other than that.
He kind of messed around with his hairstyles a bit.
Yeah. In that tattoo store.
Yeah.
What else? Dimitri is there.
Yeah, he didn't get anything to do this year either.
The biggest twist of all, Penis Face goes to Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that. I love how they...
Why would you switch?
Because you guys don't call me Penis Breath. Shut up, Penis Breath.
Oh yeah, Penis Breath. He's like, I've made a mistake. I'm pretty sure he's one of the only ones that stay in Cobra Kai, right? Near the end, or... I don't know. Because I don't know if all those kids leave.
I think a lot of them
Imagine, okay, so I think Kenny's more evil than Anthony was last season, because not only did Anthony get swirlied, he got swirlied in a used toilet.
That was terrible.
That was the one I was like,
that hurt.
That's just evil. There's bullying and then there's evil. And yes, there's a difference.
Okay, so like Anthony, Anthony mocked him a bit online. He made a fool of him. He put milk in his locker, but Kenny's just straight up going for
which I love
abuse.
Which I love that Sam called him out on. It's like, you put milk in his locker? How do you even do that? It's like, it wasn't me with my friends. They wanted it, but you still did it.
I mean, they're both bad, But Kenny's taken things too far, so he can still find redemption.
Angry.
Of course he is. I mean,
I still liked Kenny though.
His dad's in the military. His brother's in juvie. Yeah. He's got a unstable family life.
I still like Kenny because I was happy he stood up to Kyler, because I don't like Kyler. He's just a better leader than Kyler. Frat boy. And I mean, he almost did kill Robbie with the
you mean Hawk
5-point palm technique.
Yeah, I felt so bad for that.
I felt so bad, but again, he redeemed himself a little bit when he realized, oh, Terry's not a good person. Maybe Robbie was right, and I
don't think he's gonna forgive Robbie though. Gear.
No, Didn't Robbie try to talk to Kenny when the police showed up at the end?
Yeah, but then I think don't.
Kenny left, or was like,
he said don't right now.
Yeah.
All right, we better wrap up. We're going over on this.
John Kreese escapes. What's gonna happen in season 6? The Sakai Takai. We all know it.
So long story short, there was some Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith.
Hilary Swank comes back.
She'd better. They brought literally everybody else back.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
They literally everything.
Everything.
They should bring back. What's a funny character to bring back? I'm trying to think.
They brought back everybody.
They should bring back the referee who was in the soccer match in Karate Kid Part 1, where Daniel Strip like soccer punches one of the bullies. That's it?
I remember that.
You're out of here.
I remember that.
Just for fun.
There's no corner of this universe they haven't unturned except for anything in the next Karate Kid. That's the only thing they haven't touched yet. I think
that'd be a great poll.
I have heard some people suggest rumors that the new Karate Kid movie could be about her. Because if it's got nothing to do with the cast of Cobra Kai, but they did say it's not a reboot. They did say it's set within the original Karate Kid. No, they said it's set within the original Karate Kid timeline, but the creators and cast of Cobra Kai are like, well, I don't know, it's got nothing to do with us though. Which pretty much only leaves Julie Pierce and Hilary Swank. So it's like, okay, so you're either doing an original movie set in that timeline that's got nothing to do with Cobra Kai, or it's about her, because she lived in Boston.
Watch it be like Karate Kid, but in New York.
Yeah, so that's an interesting way to...
What's the point?
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. And Cobra Kai, fantastic show. It's one of the best shows on TV. It's crazy.
It's so goofy that it's good.
But it's not just goofy. It's goofy, it's over the top, but it's also got a really strong emotional depth. It's about the relationships between parents and kids, finding redemption, repairing broken relationships, passing on either ancient teachings or teachings just a few generations back. It's about loyalty to your clan, whether it's Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai, or just blood relations. There's a lot of
actual good comedy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's got action. It's got really good action too. It's well choreographed, well shot. It's got good action. It's got good comedy. It's got emotional depth. It's got silliness, goofiness. It's got world-ending plots, but also, high school relationship drama. It's got everything. The show is everything, and I love it. And gets a full-on recommend if you didn't realize by now.
Yeah, love the show. Love the show. It gives me hope for in the future, because a lot of shows like this that are comedy based don't have stakes that make sense or are as well written as this show. But it just shows that you can have a show that is comedy based that can be super dramatic and can have high stakes and have it all make sense if it's planned out well enough and written well enough. Yeah, I love this show. I love every character. Pretty much every character except Kyler. But he's, you hate him, and that's the point. So in a way, I do love all the characters. Every character is well written, well defined. Even Dimitri, he loves being, the nerd, gives stats, which is good because Miguel and Robbie sometimes need it, And Dimitri will like give out a stat, and he's like, "That's a good point." Thank you, Dimitri. But yeah, I really love this show, and I can't wait for hopefully the final season because I don't know where if there's a season 7 or 8.
If you don't like the show,
flash forward 10 years where they have children. It's like, oh no, there's gonna be a time in our lifetime for sure where there's gonna be sequels to the sequels. It's just gonna happen.
Of course it is. We're gonna get
like what happened to Rey.
Yeah,
Skywalker?
I was about to say Rey Skywalker. What happened to her? And
what happens
what
to
relevant now? I don't know.
What happens to Creed's son? Deaf. Oh, actually, that might be a good movie. I just realized. Creed's deaf child. Wow. Anyway,
we're gonna see. What I just had a thought. We're gonna see. I don't know. Rooster's kids. We're gonna see the. We're gonna see.
Please no. Please don't do it.
The childs of Captain America and Peggy Carter. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. What's his name? Tony Stark's daughter.
Yeah, I think they try to bring her, or they might bring her in. I don't know. It was supposed to be the girl from 13 Reasons Why in a deleted scene, but it's a very bad scene.
Cassie Lang's gonna be the next Ant-Man.
Sure. I liked Cassie when she was they had good chemistry when it was the very young Cassie and No, the very young one.
I know. I can't judge. I was saying I can't judge old Cassie.
I just said
though,
Aaron
because
Paul.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, and I think they had very good chemistry.
All right.
And but the older cat, yeah, you can't judge.
She had one scene. All right, let's wrap her up.
That scene got me emotional. When he goes, "You're so big," I was like, "Oh, what an emotional movie!" I'd give my life back to see that first time in theaters again. What a joy! What an experience!
One of the best theater experiences I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Might be the best.
That and No Way Home. I don't know which one was better. Probably Endgame.
Endgame was better.
Because No Way Home was just more so of
yeah.
Endgame was all the emotions.
Like, for example, here, when I saw Daredevil in No Way Home, it's like, okay, yeah, I was probably one of the only ones who recognized who that was in the theater. But how do you replicate something like Cap wielding Mjolnir, hailing lightning down on Thanos? And, No Way Home didn't really have moments that got...
So this is September 30th right now. 7 episodes of She-Hulk, and Daredevil is still not there.
We're not talking about She-Hulk.
So your prediction of him coming up,
I quit
in the last episode.
She-Hulk will be a separate.
Watch Charlie Cox come back, and they had to give him a new direction to make it different universe. And it's like, who are you? And he just full on just goes, "I'm Daredevil." Like they just changed his voice completely. Oh no. Joe loves Daredevil so much, so I hope they don't do that to him. Look how mad he is. Look him in the... He doesn't even want to look at me for suggesting it. Joe, I was kidding. It's a joke. It didn't happen. It's not gonna happen.
I'm one of those people who thought I would nearly rather have seen Daredevil just die with season 3 than bring him back to ruin him. I am already not happy with how they handled Kingpin in Hawkeye. I'm already like tensing up for how they're going to handle him.
Rumors are he's going to have an eye patch in the Echo show.
All right, let's just wrap up.
Well, I because I know in the comics he survives the gunshot wound. Anyway, we will always find a way to talk about Marvel or Star Wars. You know why? Because it's everywhere. Anyway. Oh, I start. That's why. Anyway, you can find me. I was like, what's he waiting for? I just realized it's me all the time. Well, you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram at Ryan Walker Official.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at ThoughtPlane Media and our Facebook page of the same name. Also check out the Close Up with Ryan and Joe Facebook page for latest updates. If you listen to us in audio, check out our YouTube channel. And if you're on YouTube, find us anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. Find further film discussion
Spotify,
Amazon Music, Samsung,
Pandora? I don't know. I don't even know what Pandora
whatever
is.
else.
I just heard it's a thing. Your mom's vinyl records.
Not on Pandora yet, but we are in review from them.
I know
Anyway.
I know it's very exclusive. Your grandma's vinyl records. I'm sure it's there.
We'll get that
Maybe
one day.
one episode. We'll sneak it in.
Find further film discussion and entertainment reviews on thoughtplane.ca/articles. And if you'd be so kind, you can support Thoughtplane Media on Patreon, link below. Also, be sure to leave us comments and reviews, as that's a big help. And how about clicking that like button if you enjoyed this? We hope to see you on the next close-up with Ryan and Joe. Till next time. And always remember,
Cobra Kai.
strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
No mercy.